We're ready when you are.
Okay. Ready? Alrighty. Let's get going here then. 5, 4, 3. Hello and welcome once again to Loveland's Talking. My name is Andy Hiller. I'm the Public Information Officer here for the City of Loveland, and we're here with you today and this month, as we are every month, with this show to give you more information to you, the public, about what's going on here at your local city government. Today we're going to take a look at the innovative continuous flow intersection that is going on or planned for Madison and Eisenhower at that intersection. And upon hearing that, if you're thinking, hey, haven't I heard about that before? Haven't I seen this on this show before? Well, the answer is yes. I guess you've been paying attention because we dedicated this show to this intersection back last September. But today, however, what you're going to see and hear is an update on what's going on there. Last September, the plans for this intersection were being finalized. Today, this update is being brought to you because the plans have been completed, the money has been approved, City Council has said yes, and if you've traveled past that intersection at all, you've noticed that construction has begun. Well, as I said, it is an innovative intersection, unlike any perhaps in the whole state of Colorado. And if you weren't with us in September and you don't quite know what I'm referring to here, please stay tuned, because I guarantee you will find the plans and the design for this intersection very engaging. Our show will also feature a couple of brief videos on this intersection to make it even clearer for you as to how it works. So during the course of this show, we're going to discuss why greater traffic flow is needed at that intersection, what designs were considered, how the intersection itself works, and what's ahead for the community at that intersection between now and Thanksgiving, or maybe actually to some degree closer to Christmas. With me today is Tom Nossman. Hi, Tom.
Hi, Andy.
Always good to see you.
Hey, thanks for having me.
We see each other frequently. We're in the same building. And Tom, I consider you probably the greatest expert on continuous flow intersections in the entire planet. What do you say?
I'd have to say you're wrong on that one,
Wrong,
but
okay. Well, how about
certainly have
Colorado?
learned a lot over the last few years. Yeah.
Okay. Is this intersection here in Loveland the only one of its type in Colorado that exists or being considered, to the best of your knowledge?
There is a detached left intersection that calls itself a CFI in Colorado Springs, and there are others in the nation that we've studied and modeled and looked at in our preparation for this project, but this will be the first of its type in northern Colorado.
Okay, so one of a kind.
You bet.
All right, all right. Well, let's first talk about the intersection and where it is and why it's needed. If my computer will work here, there it is. There's a map showing the intersection location.
Yeah, so our intersection is planned for the junction of Madison and Eisenhower, US 34. It's a critical link in our transportation network on the east side of town. Really, the reason that intersection is so critical is because the northwest portion of town, that area which has the greatest growth potential for our city, all wants to drain out to I-25 and points beyond through that Madison US 34 link at Eisenhower. And so it's critical that we're able to dovetail two streams of traffic and do it efficiently and not be robbing Peter to pay Paul, is the old adage.
Okay, and you'll explain that.
I will in a bit. Well, don't want to get ahead of myself.
Okay.
But here it is in the graphic. We're looking at that intersection in that quadrant in the northwest that wants to come over on 29th, down on Madison, and then go towards I-25 on US 34.
And I've certainly, if you want, been caught trying to make a left turn onto Eisenhower and had to sit through a couple of cycles of the light because it's It's a popular turning place. You explained to me that there's kind of an aquatic reason why that intersection is so popular.
Yeah, you know, Loveland has the amenities of these lovely, nice lakes, Boyd Lake, Horseshoe Lake up there, that gives us wonderful recreation, but it also inhibits our ability to bring roadways out to the highway. So 29th can't continue on. It runs into that barrier, and without a tunnel or a very expensive bridge, which in reality is never going to happen. 34 is that conduit. The only other conduit we have going out to 34 is Highway 402 on the south end of town. So a lot of people are going to be on that. We've been able to make improvements on 34, adding additional lanes east and west in 2007 to assist in moving that traffic along, and now we need an improvement at Madison.
And of course, when you turn left onto Madison, you wind up on Eisenhower, and that puts even more traffic on our busiest street.
That's exactly the case, and we've been studying what we can do to improve the ability to make that left turn, because frankly right now we have a lot of traffic that is going through neighborhoods in order to get over to other linking roadways, Boise Avenue and Denver Avenue, and making lefts there and making it more complicated on those roadways. If we can help those people to efficiently get on at Madison and stay on Madison, they aren't going through neighborhoods, which is a concern for us. So that's another one of our objectives, one of the things we hope we're able to achieve with this new intersection. As you can see in this diagram, we're talking again about that heavy flow from the northwest coming over on 29th, coming south on Madison, wanting to turn left, and on 34 you see a string of stoplights, and that's the critical nature of how we convey flow out to US 34. If people aren't making those lights, it's really aggravating, and to take time away from that progression, those people that are traveling on 34, to allow the Madison people to come on, that's kind of the trick. So,
okay, well, you're talking about time, and this slide illustrates that with a stopwatch. What is this slide? What is being said with this slide?
Well, it's all about the green arrow time. How much time do you allow that left-turning traffic to have in order to make their movement onto US 34? While they're making that movement, all the rest of the traffic has to sit and watch. And so it's really a trick. How much time are we going to take away from the main road, US 34, in order to give to that green arrow? That's the thing that we've been pondering for a long time, and that's the thing we think this intersection helps us to solve.
But this intersection didn't just come to you guys. You guys studied and looked at some other alternatives.
We certainly did. You know, originally getting into this project 3-4 years ago, we looked at a suite of different options. Conventional, regular ways of lining up the traffic, giving more green arrow time. How do we make that happen? And fundamentally, it really didn't show well. I mean, effectively, we were able to get something that halfway worked, but all of the left turns around the intersection, the ones coming south and turning left, but even the ones going east-west were not working well. People were still sitting through multiple phases. And so with that, we started to look at other options. Those other options were the roundabout you see here, but it had to be a really massive roundabout. We're looking at 3 lanes in a big circulation, more of a European-styled roundabout. We weren't certain, one, that the public was ready for it. Our partners on this roadway, CDOT, who owns US 34.
What does CDOT mean?
Good question. That's Colorado Department of Transportation.
So the state highway department.
Yes, you know, and I'm so used to using the acronym, I apologize there. But they certainly weren't ready to look at a 3-lane roundabout at this time.
Plus you have businesses, and that's a busy intersection. We got businesses on all the corners.
Exactly, yes.
Got pedestrians to deal with, etc.
Those were other elements that we were considering. The footprint for that roundabout was quite large. It wanted to sit on businesses that are existing at the corners. The city wasn't looking at that big of a purchase of land at this intersection. So we then kind of looked out further to see if there were other ideas, and through that search we came upon this continuous flow intersection thought.
Okay, and so the roundabout was discarded. Goodbye, roundabout, we're out of here.
Got discarded.
Okay, well, how about this? These are pretty common, the double left turn.
Right, double left turn, everybody's experienced those in any major city, and that's kind of the standard way of handling additional traffic. As the left turns build, you just build another lane. You get those two lanes stacked up and you let them turn. That was an option that was considered, and it did okay, but it's still, like I was saying, the lefts weren't performing the way we wanted them to. There was going to be a lot of delay. There was going to be a lot of potential for having to sit through 1 and 2 cycles in order to make that. The reason for that is with the double left, essentially everybody's still just watching 2 streams of traffic. And I guess I'm jumping ahead a little bit.
Right. That's
here's,
right.
Here's the current situation with single left turn lanes. We've got 14 lanes, only 2 of them are moving. We got 86 people that are sitting at red lights.
86% of the people.
86, you're right.
Yeah, and there might be 1 or 2 more or less. Who knows? On a Saturday afternoon.
Got ahead of myself.
Yeah, that's okay.
But that's the existing situation. If we go to that double left scenario, we don't get that much improvement. Fundamentally, now we've got 17 lanes. We only have 4 lanes moving during that green arrow phase. You've got 76% of the traffic sitting at red lights. So is that really a win situation? We didn't feel like it was. We wanted to look at other things that we could do. In order to make this work, we would have to make the double lefts have more green time, which meant a longer delays on Eisenhower and meant people missing their links to the next lights upstream and downstream.
I'm going to have you repeat that, because I know this is one of the major benefits, and it's really a win-win situation. I'll brag here a little bit. If you're the greatest expert on this, certainly in northern Colorado, I may be your best student of this, because we've interacted quite a bit, and I've learned how this will work. And what to me is really cool about this is how it not only increases, well, you explain it, not only increases the left turn time, but also decreases the red light time elsewhere.
Right. And, you know, it's fascinating, but simply what we're trying to do is to move the left turning traffic, these green arrows, away from the main signal, allow them to detach upstream and downstream with essentially a remote signal that gets them into place, handles the conflict that we'd have, and then at the main light, at the intersection, we can turn everybody north-south green at one time. And if you'll go to the next slide, it helps to illustrate that. Here's what we get with the CFI. We've already handled the lefts with a signal upstream and downstream. We get everybody to the main intersection, and we're able to move 10 of 18 lanes. Only 44% of the lanes are sitting at red. We get the Madison traffic handled in a really short amount of time, 30, 35 seconds. And then we get back onto the main line, Eisenhower. We're actually able to increase the green light time on Eisenhower, which we feel is that win-win situation.
Okay, so with the double turn lane, you don't increase the green light time on Eisenhower.
No, actually it's going to decrease.
Okay, and compared to the 2 slides back, where it said 86% or whatever that original number was, in effect you've cut the time, the red light time, in half.
People waiting at red lights by half. Yes, that's exactly right.
Okay. Well, Folks, as you look at this diagram, it is, if you've never seen it before, it can be a little confusing. Bottom line in here, at least as I see it, is you have both the through traffic and the left turn traffic moving at the same time, as opposed to one at a time, one waiting for the other. So you're getting a lot more traffic. And the best way to see how all this works is to take a couple of minutes and watch the video that we're going to include right now. This video was done back in September, but it really does illustrate the concept of all of this. So if you would watch this, I think you'll find it very enlightening. Please.
Little GTO, you really looking fine. 3 deuces and a 4-speed and a 389.
The City of Loveland Transportation Engineers, the same people that brought you roundabouts, want you to consider a new, unusual traffic flow concept called a continuous flow intersection, or CFI, which has been selected for Madison Avenue at US 34, Eisenhower Boulevard. A continuous flow intersection is new and unusual, and this video will show you how it works. First, let me tell you why it's needed. Hi, I'm Tom Nostman, a public works engineer working to make traffic flow more efficiently at US 34 and Madison Avenue. US 34, Eisenhower Boulevard, is the lifeblood of our community. It's the main traffic artery from east to west, from Centerra to Rocky Mountain National Park, and it's suffering from impaired circulation. The flow of traffic on US 34 and the streets bringing traffic to it has become congested and will only get worse with no action. Anytime a traffic light stops traffic on 34 to allow side street traffic to flow across or onto 34, the flows stop. Madison Avenue intersection, a major feeder to US 34, is a fine example. At busy times on Madison, motorists may have to wait 2 and sometimes 3 cycles to make a left turn. Lengthening the Madison left turn arrow helps those drivers, but at the expense of US 34 traffic. With a conventional left turn, lane and arrow system, everyone else at the intersection sits and waits while a few cars make their left turns. Plus, there's a dead time, when the left turners are stopping and the through traffic has not yet started. No cars anywhere are moving then. With the CFI arrangement, left turners and through traffic are moving simultaneously in both directions, and the left turn dead time is eliminated. Let me show you how it works. The animation you're about to see was produced for a CFI intersection in Utah. But imagine this is the intersection of Madison and Eisenhower, heading south. Making a left turn will be as easy as 1, 2, 3. Let's take a quick look. Step 1. Cars turning left will start by lining up in the left turn lanes just like a normal intersection, only a little further back. Step 2. When the left turn light turns green, you'll drive across the oncoming lanes to all new lanes on the other side of the road. Step 3. Another left turn signal will then tell you when you can go ahead and make your left turn. It's that easy. Now let's look at this as if you're making a left turn from Eisenhower onto northbound Madison. Making a left turn from Eisenhower onto Madison is the same as a normal intersection. The only difference is that you'll need to watch for another light just past the intersection on Madison. If you're the last car or two making this left turn, you might see a red light here. This is the light that allows left turning cars to cross safely in front of you. Right turns are really easy, as you can see here from the Madison perspective. Just make your turn, merge with traffic, and keep right on going. CFI intersections are used today in Colorado Springs, Salt Lake City, New Orleans, and elsewhere. More than 50 CFI intersections exist in Mexico. How much will it cost? About the same as a conventional intersection improvement. Also, the CFI has less impact on neighboring businesses, plus fewer environmental concerns. When will this be built? Construction is scheduled to begin in July 2010 and end in November of the same year. But there are many steps ahead before the shovels will hit the ground on this project, including multiple opportunities for the public to get involved. We'll keep you informed. Drive safely and friendly. Thank you for watching.
I'm the coolest thing around. Little buddy gonna shut you down. When I turn it on, wind it up, blow it out, GTO.
Well, Tom, that's the first video, and it's kind of a bird's eye view of the intersection, but I don't know about you, but I won't be up there. I'll be down here when I encounter this intersection. I understand you have a second one that shows it from a different perspective.
Right, Andy. You know, we were concerned about how this intersection wants to work, and so really we were looking around for examples during the development period when we were evaluating the three different options. To even consider the CFI, we wanted to see how one worked, and so we reached out to other communities where they had these. We were able to find that Salt Lake City was building one at the time period we were evaluating this back in 2007. And literally a couple of weeks after the one in Salt Lake City opened, we were able to have somebody that was traveling through Salt Lake capture some video for us. And so that was a great opportunity for us to be able to, from a windshield perspective, see what the driver's experience would be like. And we captured that and were able to put that into a video. So,
well, we'll let our viewers experience that from the driver's perspective, basically from the driver's seat with a camcorder. This is not the Hollywood production, but it's effective. You'll get the idea. So take a minute or two. Actually, it's about 4 or 5 minutes, and watch this video as well.
Little GTO, you really looking fine.
you may have heard about the new continuous flow intersection, CFI, planned for the intersection of Madison and Eisenhower here in Loveland. And yes, from a bird's eye view, it can seem a bit confusing. But stay tuned and we'll take a ride through an actual CFI in Salt Lake City, similar to the intersection designed for Loveland. First, let's take a look at the intersection today. As you know, during busy times of the day, making a left turn from southbound Madison onto Eisenhower may require drivers to sit through 2 or even 3 traffic cycles. We're trying to solve that problem without increasing the red light time on Eisenhower, Loveland's busiest street. As you can see from the diagram here, whenever the 2 Madison left turn arrows are green, everyone else, north, south, east, and westbound, all sit and wait at a red light. Increasing the green arrow time for those 2 lanes increases the red light time for the other 12 lanes. We considered designing dual left turn lanes, and while that would help increase the number of left turners, it still leaves the other lanes with a red light. Plus, there's another major problem. In order to widen the intersection with a standard dual left turn design, the extra land would have to come from the existing Flower-Rama and 7-Eleven stores, a very costly impact to both the city and those businesses. Here's the CFI design for the intersection. Instead of the Flower-Rama and 7-Eleven lands, the CFI design uses land from the opposite corners, the empty lot that sometimes hosts a firework or a rug stand, and some grassy area from Sam's Club corner. That's a big difference. But the biggest difference is in the way the intersection works. Instead of everyone else waiting while the left turners move, both the left turners and the through traffic move simultaneously. More than twice as many cars are moving on Madison, and that results in shorter, yes shorter, red light waits for motorists on Eisenhower. It's a real win-win situation. To motorists, the only real procedural difference is where the left turners wait for the arrow. There's no difference to the through traffic waiting to go. Left turners get into the left turn lane just like usual, but a bit further back. When the light turns green, they travel in the left turn lane and make their turn at the intersection. Okay, so here's the drive-through we promised. Again, this is someone making a left turn at the continuous flow intersection in Utah. The driver enters the left turn lane and stops at the traffic light, but a bit further back. The light turns green, and he follows the left turn lanes across the empty through traffic lanes, enters the protected left turn approach lanes, reaches the intersection, and turns left. Very ordinary, don't you think? Now let's take a second look with another drive-through, this time in the opposite direction. We're guessing that the truck in front is watching his rearview mirror and is a bit camera shy. This time through, take a look to our driver's right. Here, and you can see the through traffic moving across the main intersection, while the left turners are entering from their protected lane. That's about a dozen lanes of traffic flowing instead of just 2 or 3. A continuous flow intersection at Madison and Eisenhower will mean no more long waits for Madison left turners, and the Madison vehicles require less time for their movements, resulting in more green light time for everyone on Eisenhower. Do motorists like it? In Salt Lake City, when surveyed after the intersection was up and running, a whopping 83% said the intersection improved traffic flow. Here are some of the comments that the Utah survey respondents offered. We're confident that Loveland motorists will have similar opinions after a few trips through the intersection. Construction of the intersection is scheduled for next summer, with completion about 5 months later. We'll see you there. Drive safely and friendly. Thanks for watching.
Well, folks, I hope you found those videos worthwhile. You got to see this new intersection from basically 2 perspectives, from this last video from the perspective of being in the driver's seat, and the first one kind of an overall perspective. And yes, it's certainly different and more unusual than a roundabout or the double left turn lanes. Let's talk about the benefits of all of this. You've been kind of talking about benefits here and there. Let's have you summarize them, if you would.
Sure. And again, you know, with the CFI, Andy, our objective is to move that traffic from Madison on to US 34 as quickly as possible, not take time away from Eisenhower, be able to do it safely. And we feel like we're able to do that. We feel that there's truly a win-win situation. People on Eisenhower don't have to sit through additional red time to accommodate their Madison counterparts. And in Madison, one of the big benefits beyond just the traffic level was at the city, we don't end up having to buy lots of land around the intersection. The footprint for this particular intersection works well with the vacant lands that are available in Sam's Corner and the old Schrader's Corner over on Albertson side. And we didn't have to tear down buildings, deal with asbestos, or with old gas station tanks and stuff like that. So that was a real benefit. And then fundamentally, the cost of the intersection came in very well. We were pleased with the bids that we got, and it did show that the costs that we had projected were very true, and we weren't going to spend more money on the CFI than we would on that double left intersection.
Okay, that always makes people happy.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah. Speaking about making people happy, the next slide, well, you describe it. This was in Utah.
Yeah. So again, I had mentioned earlier that Salt Lake City, not roundabout, but CFI that was put in at Bangerter and 35th on the west side, southwest of downtown Salt Lake City. Their experience, we tracked that, and we were able to get some of the survey data that UDOT, and that's Utah Department of Transportation, collected. What they found is that 83% of the populace felt that it improved traffic flow. 81% felt that it was easy to drive. They didn't have lots of issues with how it was working. And then finally, 78% felt that it provided a safe experience.
So the numbers are really overwhelming here. You know, in an election, if it's 55 to 45, that's considered a significant victory. 60 to 40 is kind of a landslide, and here you're in the 80% area. So virtually everybody, 8 out of 10 people for the most part, felt very positively about the Utah intersection.
Well, and we hope that we are going to able to duplicate that experience.
Okay, maybe we'll have to do a survey and put the results of that on Loveland's Talking here a year or so from now, when construction is all done and people have experienced it. Speaking of construction and it being done, let's move to that, the construction schedule. Explain this, if you would.
Sure, Andy. What we've got here is a simplified diagram that shows our construction phasing. So we've shown the work that we're doing in June, which is wrapping up shortly here. That's just work that's on the side of the roadway. What we're doing is putting in storm sewers, dealing with utilities, putting up our temporary signal span wire system that's going to serve while we're getting everything done. And that effort gets done after the fourth break. So July 6th, we'll have the next phase, which is shown in green. And on that date, we'll be closing that leg between US 34 and 16th Street. That will allow the contractor to get in there, concentrate on the things that he has to accomplish in order to get the roadway to its new configuration. So there's going to be, after the 6th, demolition of the existing roads. They're going to tear out the curbs and gutters, sidewalks, the asphalt. They're going to be doing some more utility work that would be out in the roadway. So that's why we need it to be closed. Water line lowerings, new storm sewer systems, so that that's all in place and doesn't have to be done after the road's constructed. Nothing worse than having to cut into new asphalt.
Well, that's the north side of Madison, above the intersection, so to speak.
You're right.
And that's for what distance approximately?
2 blocks.
2 blocks.
So
okay.
we're going up to 16th Street. 16th will be open for local traffic. We're asking people during that closure that they detour to Madison using Boise and 19th Streets. So traffic up to Boyd Reservoir, up to that park facility. Coming east on US 34, we'll want people to turn right early on Boise, go up to 19th, and then jog on over and up.
Okay. And how long will that section be closed?
We're going to go through September. We've actually got incentives on the contract for the contractor to get done early. The targeted date is September 23rd, but they could be done as early as September 8th.
Okay, and what happens thereafter?
Then we're going to go on to our third phase, which is shown on the diagram in blue. That will be a reverse closure. So we open the north side with the new signal, with the detached CFI configuration, and people will be able to practice on that. At that same time, we will be closing the south leg for a block there from 34 down to Nickel to allow us to finish the roadway on that side. So that work will be ongoing between September and November. Then we will open the entire roadway up with the new signal in November, and during that period we'll just be doing cleanup efforts on the side to get things put away for the winter, and you'll probably see a little bit of landscaping activity going on in the 2011 time period, but it won't impact traffic.
Okay, so from a motorist perspective, the cleanup aside, which really doesn't affect traffic flow, we'll be driving on this in its final form around Thanksgiving.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Now, in the meantime, I see we have Sam's Club and the flower store and a couple on some apartment buildings, et cetera. Are you going to be able to get to those places?
You know, we are working very hard in order to keep those businesses exposed so that they can be seen as open. They are definitely open, and except for the Albertsons, I guess I should
We don't have to worry about that.
We've got a closed store there right now, and one of the things that we're hoping by doing this at this time is that if someone takes use of that Albertson site, then they don't have to endure a bunch of construction when that happens. That said, we do want people to know that all the businesses in the area are open and that we've got signs out guiding people to their businesses and away from them once they've made their purchases.
Well, that's good because the temperature is heating up, and I see there's an ice cream store among the nearby stores, so we want to be certain to be able to
Absolutely.
to get to that. Good milkshake on a
That
on
and
a hot
donuts
afternoon.
in the morning.
Donuts in the morning.
There you
Yes,
go.
indeed. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so we've talked about a number of things here. If people want to see this in more detail, if they want to see the videos again, if they want to get into it in more depth than we've discussed here, that's available, yes?
Yes.
How?
Well, you're going to need to get on the web and go to our main city website, and that's City of Loveland, all one string. Caps are irrelevant, is that correct?
It is, but they show up better on the slide.
There we go.
Yeah.
cityofloveland.org. That'll take you to the main page, and what you want to do is look for the symbol, continuous flow intersection. That has a link next to it, and it takes you to those videos and other discussions that we have had in the past on developing this intersection idea.
Good, good. Okay, well, again, we've covered this in detail. I think it's going to be one of the most innovative things around here. I look forward to driving through it and experience its efficiency, and it'll be pretty cool, and I'll look forward to that show with you a year or so from now when this is all done and
Do a wrap-up.
Yeah,
You
maybe
bet.
we can do an on the street interview. What do you
There we
think?
go.
Yeah, you can
That'd
just
be cool.
run alongside of a car while it's making a left turn with a microphone.
What do you think?
Yeah. Okay, well, thanks. Anything else you want to mention before we call it a day?
Gosh, Andy, no, just be kind to the other motorists and the construction workers out there. Thank you.
Good. Okay. Well, folks, thank you again for watching Loveland's Talking, and please offer, as Tom says, some understanding and patience to the project while it's going on, and especially the construction workers in the street and that sort of thing. So we'll see you next month with a different topic here on Loveland's Talking. Enjoy the month of July, and if you're seeing this before the 4th of July, happy 4th, and if it's afterward, we hope you had a good day then. Bye-bye. Thanks, Shane.